everyone, welcome to a quick tutorial video on how to process time to be submitted to Ideal HR for payroll. To start the process, click on the Manage Payroll button, followed by Manage Payrolls, and then View All Pay Periods. Once you open this up, you will see a list of your different pay periods here and their start and end dates. Now, most of the time you're only going to be processing pay period if it is not current. So in your is current column, just make sure it says no on there. There are a few situations when you may process a current pay period, but in those cases, you'll actually hear from us to let you know whether or not you should process those. To open up the pay period, you're going to click on the $sign that's over on the left side, and it will show you a different checklist of items that need to be completed to process the time. The first step is pending time off requests. If there are no time off requests that are for the date range that you're processing, you will not see this red exclamation point here. In this case, I do have one, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that link there, and it's going to open up my pending time off request report that's for the date range that I'm processing. In this case, I can see I have this one time off request. If I want to view the employee's balances, I can do that by clicking on the hourglass button, and I can see how much time off they have available to use. At this point, I can decide whether I want to approve or reject the request. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and approve it, so I'm going to click on the checkbox on the left side, followed by that Approve Check Request button up in the top right. It is going to ask me if I want to enter a comment for this. I'm not going to go enter one, so I'm just going to click on OK. And you'll see it's approved that one request, and our report is now blank. So I can click on that back button in the top left to go back to our list of items to do to process the time. Now that I've processed that time off request, I can check that item off, and you can see it puts my name over here on the right side, just letting me know that I've completed that step. The next step on here is to review the different timesheets for the pay period. To do that, I'm going to click on this Review Timesheet Status, and it's going to open up a list of the different timesheets for the pay period I'm processing. I can also view any of the timesheets that are in this list. Now you'll notice that the timesheets here are in a submitted status. If any of the timesheets in your pay period are in a approved status, they will not show on this list. If you want to view those timesheets, you can view them through this Manage Timesheets by Pay Period option. Again, that's only for timesheets that are already in an approved status. Those timesheets will not show up in this report. You're only going to see timesheets that are either open, submitted, rejected, or never opened. Those are the only timesheets that you'll see in this list. If I want to view an employee's timesheet from here, I can do that. Just need to click on that button with the magnifying glass on it over on the left side. It's going to take me into the employee's timesheet right on that Summary by Day option. And I can click on the timesheet itself if I want to go in and edit any of the time entries here. Once I've checked the timesheet to make sure everything is okay, I can click on the back button and come back to my timesheet list. Now my recommendation here is that you approve all of the timesheets in this step. When you do that approval process, the system does some double checks for you to make sure there's no missing time entries or anything like that. To approve those, you just click on the All or the Page checkbox up here near the top left. If you click on the All, just note it's not going to actually check those. If you click on the Page, it will actually check them. Either one works. Once you've checked that off, you can click on the Approve button up in the top right. It's going to ask me for an approval comment. I'm not going to enter one in. I'm just going to click on that OK button. And the system's going to go through its double checks to make sure everything is okay on those timesheets. Now you'll see here that I have an incomplete time entry on one of my timesheets. So instead of clicking on the Approve button, I'm going to click on Skip. And what that does is it skips the system from actually approving that timesheet. So when I come back to my list here, you can see my timesheet is still in that submitted status. I know that this timesheet has an incomplete entry on it, so I can open up that timesheet, take a look at that Summary by Day tab, and I can see I have one incomplete on this column here. So I can click on that date. I can see my incomplete time entry here, so I'm going to go ahead and enter a time entry, save that, and if I come back to my Summary by Day, I can see that that's been taken care of. I'll click on that back button in the top left to get back to my timesheets, and I can now approve this one timesheet without any problems. Once you've approved the different timesheets, you can click on the back button up in the top left, And you can see that review timesheet status, it's going to list my timesheets are ready for payroll. If you leave any timesheets open and unapproved, you will see a notice on here that says timesheets are unapproved or timesheets are open. Since that's completed, I'm going to go ahead and click on that checkbox there. The next step is super simple. It's just process records. All you do is click on the process records text. A warning box is going to show up and ask you, are you sure you want to run this? Go ahead and click on that run button. You can do this as many times as you want. It's really not going to hurt anything. It's basically the system preparing the time to be exported for payroll. Once you've completed that process record step, you can check that one off. The next step on here is the review results. Now you can click on the review results text there, and what you're going to see is a report of that pay prep or that process record step. In this case, you can see each employee, you can see how many hours and what pay category those hours are going to. So in this case, I've got 40 hours going to hourly, I've got 8 hours going to paid time off, and then I've got 3.1 hours going to overtime. This is a good way for you to check to make sure all the information has been processed correctly and there's not anything out of whack as far as what's in the employee's timesheets. Once you're finished viewing that review results, you can click on the back button up in the top left. And again, you can check off that review results step. The final step here is to lock the pay period. All you do is click on that lock pay period text. You're going to be asked, are you sure you want to lock this pay period? And you're going to click on yes. And you'll see the text on that step has changed. It now reads unlock pay period. That's how you know that you've locked it successfully. Once you have locked it, you can just go ahead and click that one off so that it's marked as complete. When you click on that lock pay period step, what it's doing is locking all of the timesheets for that pay period, no matter what status they're in, to prevent anyone from making any edits. And it also sends IdealHR a notification letting us know that your time prep is ready to be processed for payroll. If you have any questions about this process or you run into any issues, feel free to give us a call here at the office and we're more than willing to help. That's all I have for you today, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.